MCJ Sports.
Hello there, guys, and welcome to MCJ Sports. My name is Marco Yerkovich, and joining me is Spencer Allgood.
How's it going?
Today, we're going to be giving you our picks for this week's biggest games in the sports world.
And before we begin, I'd just like to remind you to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and turn on those bells to get notifications every time we post.
Yeah, that is very important, you know. You got to turn on those notifications to know when the video is uploaded. All right, let's move on to the first pick of the day. We have the Golden State Warriors at the Houston Rockets, Thursday, 7 o'clock on TNT. Spencer, who do you have?
Everyone's eyes is on this game. I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Rockets for this one. No Draymond Green. There's a lot of turmoil in the locker room. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Warriors respond.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, Draymond Green, I think he already served his suspension. So that's okay. Yeah, I actually thought he was going to serve his suspension for this game, but I double-checked that. They played a game on Wednesday night.
If he's back, that'll make it even more interesting.
Yeah, because then, it's going to be like, what is the on-court dynamic with him and Kevin? Because, have they fleshed it out? I think the Warriors are still going to win. That is my pick. Because I just feel like, the Rockets, they've had a strange slump so far this season. They did have the suspension to Chris Paul, the early injury to Harden, but they just haven't hit their rhythm yet. So who do you have in this one? Do you have the Warriors?
Rockets.
Okay, so difference of opinion. I think you're right. There's going to be a bit of kind of animosity with the Warriors, but I think they're just the better team, that they should be able to just outplay the Rockets regardless of what is happening. So let's move on to our second pick of the day. We have the Toronto Raptors at the Boston Celtics, Friday at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
I'm going to take the Celtics in this one. The Raptors caught them early. First time they played. Celtics are finally starting a little bit more of a rhythm. Jason Tatum's playing well, and I think they're going to get the payback for this one.
Yeah, I have the Celtics in this one as well. I just think, although the Raptors have the best player in what would be a series between these teams in Kawhi Leonard, I think the Celtics might legitimately have the second through sixth or seventh best player. Because as you followers of this channel know, I don't think Kyle Lowry is good at all. I think he's trash. I don't think he's good. And I think the Celtics are just a really good team this year. And obviously are probably the front runners in the East, even though their record isn't showing that right now.
They're the deepest team in the NBA if you look at their depth chart. I mean, they got Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, all coming off the bench.
Don't forget about Marcus Morris. He's third on the team in points. He's got 16 and a half off the bench. I mean, he might actually, in his 30s, might get a legit long-term contract after being on the bench for 2 years for Boston. I thought he was going to be like a throwaway trade for Avery Bradley, to get Avery Bradley out of there, but they actually made a legit pickup with Marcus Morris. That just shows the genius of Danny Ainge. But yeah, so we both have the Celtics in that one. So first, for our first college football game of the day, we've got Syracuse versus Notre Dame. That's at Yankee Stadium in New York City. It's Saturday at 1:30 on NBC.
I got Notre Dame in this one. They've been playing some good team ball right now, and I don't see it slowing down. Especially everyone wants to predict an upset. I just don't see it coming this week.
Yeah, a lot of people like to forecast that. They just want to see some chaos, because the thing right now, is you have Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan are all clear favorites in all of their remaining games. So the big problem is, they need something to talk about, those talking heads or those analysts, and they're not really getting anything out of that. I have Notre Dame in this game as well. Syracuse is going to be the biggest challenge for any of those teams remaining, is this game for Notre Dame, but I have Notre Dame pretty big. I don't think it should be that much of a problem, but I could see Syracuse testing them for 4 quarters. All right, so let's move on to our next game, an AAC battle. It's where game day will be. It's number 24 Cincinnati at number 11 UCF, Saturday at 7 o'clock on ABC. Spencer, who do you have in this one?
UCF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This team is going to create some debate. If they go undefeated for a second year in a row, I think that they could just single-handedly force playoff expansion to at least 6 teams.
At least. They're, just from watching them, they're one of the most purely athletic teams I've seen. They're just faster than anyone they play. Obviously, they're in a lower conference, but they just seem so much more physically dominant than anyone they play. They can put up 30 to 45 points at will every single week.
Yeah, every single game of this streak, which is I think at 22 now or something, they've had 30 plus points. Not even Alabama has done that in streaks of that long, which is quite impressive. But it kind of lends itself to the point to whether Cincinnati or UCF or Boise State or Utah State or whoever from the group of five is undefeated or representing the group of five, if those teams have no chance at making it to the playoffs, then what is the point in calling it the college football playoff? Why not just call it the Power 5 college football playoff or expand to at least include one of those group of five teams? Or give them some type of a special game or a special group of five playoff. It just doesn't seem fair that these teams are competing at technically the same level, but they're not being allowed to achieve the same feats, even though I know they don't have the same schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to make it when you don't play anyone good and when anytime you play a high-powered offense, you're giving up a lot of points. But then last year they played a team that is Auburn, who makes it to the SEC championship game, and they handled them. There was never a point during that game where I thought Auburn was going to win, and obviously they're a little less at that caliber this year without Scott Frost, but they still look like one of the best teams in the country comparatively to who they're playing, and I think that they really need the playoff really needs to expand to give teams like that a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, I would be a proponent for an 8-team playoff. I know a lot of people think, well, go to 6, wait a little bit longer, then go to 8. I think 8 is the logical step because you get every single Power 5 champion, you get the group of 5 highest ranked team, and then you get 2 at-larges. I think that is the healthy way to go about this, to always represent the group of 5, still keep conference championship games important, because what a lot of people think already, even with 4 teams, a lot of people are devaluing the championship because Alabama made it in last year or Penn State didn't make it in 2 years ago. But I think if you keep those conference champions as like automatic bids, then you still value the championship game enough, even though you have quarterfinals. So moving on to our third college football game, we have 16 Iowa State at 15 Texas, Saturday at 7 o'clock on the Longhorn Network.
I think Iowa State's going to give it to them. I'm sick of all the Texas is back stuff. They lost to Maryland. They should have lost to Oklahoma. They do not impress me that much. I think Iowa State, they're on a great run right now. I think they're going to give it to the Longhorns this week.
Yeah, I think Iowa State is probably one of the most dangerous teams in the country, and both Oklahoma and West Virginia should be thankful they already played them, even though I guess West Virginia lost. But, any team that is playing Iowa State right now is in enormous danger of a huge upset, which Texas is going to fall prone to. I have Iowa State as well. But you do, you said that thing about Texas is not back. They're really not. They only beat Baylor by 6 points. They only beat Tulsa by 7 points. They legitimately are a couple different plays away from being sub 500.
And the only reason that I feel Texas beat Oklahoma is because Kyler Murray got off to a shaky start. It was his big Red River rivalry game. He was nervous out there. And, I mean, you can't say that it was because the Texas offense played well. Every offense in the country would play well against Oklahoma's defense right now. And I'm just sick of all the Texas is back. I'm sick of everyone saying that they deserve to be in the Big 12 championship. They're not there at all.
Well, Texas is not back, but a couple teams that are back, including a team that hasn't been playing well at all in the past few years. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears, Sunday, 7:15 NBC, under the lights, Sunday Night Football, Soldier Field. Who do you got?
This is a tough one. Soldier Field's a very tough place to play when the Bears are playing well, and they've been playing good football this year. And but at the same time, the Vikings are fresh off a bye week. Stephon Diggs is back from injury. Dalvin Cook is back from injury. The way it's looking to me, the Vikings are fresh. They're healthy. They just got to pick up an Amir Abdullah. They got the hottest wide receiver in the league right now in Thielen. They got Stephon Diggs back, who's one of the most dynamic receivers. And now they've got Dalvin Cook, who was looking like a Rookie of the Year prospect before he blew out his knee last year. They're fresh. Purple always looks good. I think the Vikings got this one.
I really want to pick the Vikings. I really want to agree with you. But something is just telling me that Khalil Mack and that defense, they're just going to torture Kirk Cousins all day, all night. And the offense with Mitchell Trubisky, just it seems to have this aura about it. It's this weird kind of combo offense with both college and professional aspects in its offensive play calling. And I think they'll just be dynamic enough. I know the Vikings defense is really hitting its stride, and I feel like I'm picking the upset right now. But do you think I think the winner of this game pretty much decides the NFC North.
Pretty much.
I don't see Green Bay making the playoffs, so I think these two teams are really going to pull away from the rest of the NFC North. So this is a really crucial game. So you got the Vikings, I got the Bears. Moving on to another NBA game, we have the Denver Nuggets at the Milwaukee Bucks Monday at 7 o'clock. Who do you have in that one?
I've got the Bucks. Giannis is just playing out of his mind right now, and he's one of the most unguardable players in the NBA. That dude has arms that touch the floor when he's standing straight up. He's faster than everyone. He can jump over everyone. He's just the most unguardable player. At the same time, you got Jamal Murray for the Nuggets, who's playing really well, but I don't think that he's not as much of a night-to-night guy as Giannis is. Every night Giannis goes out there, he's going to get a double-double. Jamal Murray's obviously had the big 48-point game against the Celtics, and he's on a hot streak right now. But at the Bucks, I think Milwaukee's taking this one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about potential MVP candidates. Giannis is always right up there in that list with Anthony Davis and James Harden and those guys. But I'll have to go with Denver on this one. I just feel like they're a really solid team in the West, who I think could honestly finish third or fourth, and they're a pretty deep team. You know, obviously the starting lineup everyone knows with Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Paul Millsap, Nikola Jokic, but they're gonna get deep here in a couple weeks when they get Isaiah Thomas back. I mean, don't underestimate it. I know he had bad fits with Cleveland and the Lakers last year, but we remember what he did with the Celtics. Obviously, under Brad Stevens, a good coach, but they're gonna have some additional firepower here soon. I got the Nuggets in this one. So on to our final pick of the day. It's a big one. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Rams Monday, 7:15 on ESPN. Who do you have in this one, which is at the Los Angeles Coliseum now? They moved it from Mexico City.
I think Chiefs all the way. I mean, the Rams right now, they're not playing their best ever since that loss to New Orleans last week, barely pulled off the win over Seattle. It's obviously going to be a high-scoring game. If you're a betting man, take the over no matter what they set it at, because there will be zero defense played. Aaron Donald might get a sack or two, but other than that, it's going to be touchdown after touchdown. I'll be surprised if they either team punts more than 6 times combined this game.
Yeah, over under a 64. That's ridiculously low for this game. There's some guy out there betting a lot of money on the under, and he's gonna lose. 64, it should be a lot higher than that. I'll give you this. What if I give you an over under of 2.5 punts total? What do you take on that?
I'd take the over. I think the more accurate over under for punts would be around 4. I think that's about where it'll be. The amount of times Ohio State's punted against Nebraska in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so I'll have to go with the Chiefs. I agree with you on that one. The Chiefs are definitely trending in the right direction, not necessarily defensively, but just offensively. They're probably the most efficient team in the NFL, but it's more important that the Rams are definitely trending in the wrong direction. Of course, in the past few weeks, have had 2 really challenging games against the Seahawks. They obviously lost to the Saints in that shootout, but overall this season, I really haven't been impressed with their defense, which I thought could be one of the best defenses of all time just based on name recognition. But your thoughts on the Rams' defense so far?
It's honestly been pretty disappointing. I thought that they were going to be the best defense in the league. I thought it was going to be either them or Jacksonville, and both of them have been very disappointing. Right now, the Rams look to me like the Raptors do for basketball, a great regular season team who isn't going to do much in the playoffs.
Wow, bold prediction there. Can I get a score prediction from you on that one?
I'm going to put it up there, about 48-36.
48-36 Chiefs. I'm going to go with 45-42 Chiefs. So definitely both of us way over that over. So definitely go and pick the over on that one. All right, so that is it for our sports picks for the week. My name is Marko Yurkovich. Joining me was Spencer Allgood. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time.